In this video, I'll be answering common questions like what you should pay attention to before buying a monitor, and how to choose one based on your needs. Let's go. LCD screens are the most common type of monitor screens used today. There are three main panel types used in these screens: TN, VA, and IPS. While searching for monitor models, you would generally see the panel type mentioned in the technical specifications. This is important to keep in mind. If you're on a high budget, an IPS panel is the way to go. These panels just blow out the competition when it comes to color accuracy and vibrancy. The viewing angles on IPS are incredible. You can look at the screen from the side, from above, and the image is going to stay consistent. That's a game changer, especially if you ever need to share your screen or present to a group. IPS panels also offer high contrast ratios, color gamut, and color depth. Let's talk about color depth. This refers to the number of bits used to represent each color channel. Most monitors these days use 8-bit panels, which means they can display 16.7 million colors. But some higher-end monitors use 10-bit or even 12-bit panels, which can display billions of colors. This is important to note while looking at the technical specifications of the monitor you're looking for. Now, the color gamut is the range of colors a monitor can display. The most common color spaces are sRGB, which is the standard for the web, and Adobe RGB, which is used for print. A wider color gamut allows for more vibrant, saturated colors. But here's the key point. A wider color gamut doesn't necessarily mean better color accuracy. If a monitor has a huge color gamut that extends way beyond sRGB or Adobe RGB, it's going to make those color spaces look oversaturated. So for color accuracy, you want a monitor that can accurately reproduce the color space you're working in, not just one with the widest gamut. Another important spec is the contrast ratio. This is the difference between the darkest blacks and the brightest whites a monitor can display. A higher contrast ratio creates a more dynamic, lifelike image. But again, it's not just about the numbers. Two monitors with the same contrast ratio can have very different performances depending on the underlying panel technology. If you're working with a tight budget and don't want to spend too much on a monitor, a good TN panel can offer great value for your money. While it may not provide the same level of image quality and viewing angles as an IPS panel, it still offers a decent display that is capable of getting the job done. TN panels also offer a high refresh rates compared to other monitors. So, what is Hertz, the refresh rate? It's the maximum frames a monitor can display. Among the list there are 60, 90, 120, and 144 Hertz. Higher refresh rates provide the most benefit for gaming, where fast motion and quick reactions are important. But even for general use, a 90 Hz or 120 Hz display can provide a noticeably smoother experience compared to a 60 Hz. A VA panel is kind of like a middle ground between an IPS and a TN panel. It tries to find a balance between the two. The color accuracy and viewing angles are better than a TN, but not quite as good as an IPS. The contrast ratio and black levels are better than an IPS, but again, not quite as good as a true VA panel. The key advantage of a VA is that it offers a nice middle ground for people who want a balance of performance, image quality, and price. You don't get the absolute best in any category, but you get a solid all-around display that works well for most uses. A high resolution like 14 or 40p or 4K means more pixels, and therefore sharper, more detailed images compared to a lower resolution like 1080p. Higher resolutions are great for tasks like photo-video editing and gaming, where you want to see fine details. However, higher resolutions also require more GPU power to render all those pixels smoothly. Let's say you want to buy a 4K monitor to play a stealth game like Hitman 3. First, you need to make sure your PC can keep up with the performance of the monitor. Otherwise, you'd end up playing in a lower resolution at 1080p with 60 FPS, making your high-resolution monitor useless. On the other hand, if you plan to play competitive games like Valorant or CSGO, a 1080p monitor would be more than sufficient, so find the one that fits best with your needs. Monitor sizes. For competitive gaming, where quick reactions and precise aiming are crucial, A smaller monitor in the 24-inch range can be a great choice. Your eyes don't have to move as much to take in the entire field of view. This can give you a slight advantage in fast-paced games, as you don't have to constantly look around the screen to track your targets. On the other hand, if you're more focused on narrative games, graphic design, or just general productivity, then a larger monitor in the 27-inch or 32-inch range with a higher resolution, like 2K or 4K, can be an excellent choice. The extra screen provides a more productive workflow and a rich viewing experience. Monitor PPI or pixels per inch, refers to the density of pixels on the monitor's screen. It's a measure of how tightly the pixels are packed into the physical display area. But don't be confused here. PPI and resolution are related, but not the same thing. PPI describes the pixel density, while resolution describes the total number of pixels. For example, a 24-inch 1080p monitor and a 32-inch 1080p monitor have the same resolution, 1920 x 1080. But the 24-inch model will have a higher PPI because the pixels are packed into a smaller physical area. In general, you want a monitor with both a high resolution and a high PPI for the best visual experience. But the right balance depends on your specific needs and viewing distance. A higher PPI is more important if you sit close to the screen, while resolution matters more for larger screens viewed from further away. That's it for today's video. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions or video suggestions, feel free to comment down below. Like the video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, and have a good one.